This Alsop Productions episode is dedicated to my grandmother, Lila B. Ferguson, who inspired me to pursue my dreams. Thank you for everything, and know that you're loved by your grandchildren and great-grandchildren.
James, Percy, Nia, Edward, Gordon, Henry, Rebecca, Emily, Toby, and Thomas number 1.
The island of Sodor is surrounded by beautiful blue seas, fields of green and sandy yellow beaches too. The island also has loads of trains and railway lines. But who's that just puffing around the track? It's a tank engine that is named Thomas. He welcomes you to meet his friends, working together to make anything just work. 'Cause when an obstacle comes along, a train ride makes it work. 'Cause when friendship and teamwork is on your side, nothing's impossible with Thomas and his friends.
Henry the Green Engine has lived on the island of Sodor for over 75 years. He wouldn't want to be anywhere else. He likes every part of the island, from the flowery meadows to the sandy beaches, and over the years, he's had many adventures and made many wonderful friends. But out of every location on the island of Sodor, Henry's favorite place has always been the forest. But of course, his driver knew this too.
Come on, Henry. We've made good time today. We'll stop at your favourite spot in the forest. It's peaceful over there, isn't it?
But first, they always had to stop at the signal box to sign a special book to let them know that they're standing on the main line. That way, they would avoid any accidents from the other engines. One of Henry's favorite trees was the big old oak tree. It was the most enormous tree, and it towered above the whole forest. Henry often shelters under it to rest, and watch the animals, or keep cool out of the summer heat or spring rain. Seeing the old oak tree standing tall and proud made Henry very happy. One day, Henry was on his way to the old oak tree. He had finished all his jobs for the day and was looking forward to a rest.
Hello, Rosie. Hello, Gordon. Hello, Henry, old pal.
Hello, Henry. Where are you off to on this fine day?
I'm off to have a rest by the old oak tree in the forest. Again? What's so special about that tree anyway, Henry? It's the best tree of the whole forest, Gordon. It's a lovely place to shelter. Children can swing and climb on it and hide in it too.
That sounds lovely.
It is, Rosie. It's very special to me because I actually helped plant the tree with Toby, Terence and Trevor back in 1991, when we brought some new trees to plant. Now from the old oak tree, I can see all the trees growing amongst the others on the hillside and all the animals flancering in the meadow.
That's so sweet, Henry. I wish there would be a sanctuary there too. The vets in the national park are struggling with all the animals being sick, and the animals' clinic is getting crowded.
Don't worry, I'm sure Dave and Jane will get it sorted. Ow! Who's that pushing?
It's me! Out of the way, you silly steamy!
Henry and the old oak tree.
Get out of the way! You're spoiling my forest line!
It's not your forest, it's for everyone, Yeardley.
Oh yeah? How about a race to that tall tree over there? Bet you can't beat me anyway, Henry.
I bet I can. You're talking to a fast tender engine, you know.
The race was on.
Go on, Henry. Show 'em who's boss.
Yeardley was in the lead, but Henry was gaining on him quickly. Yeardley was just coming round the bend by the oak tree when... Luckily, nobody was hurt.
Yeardley, are you okay?
Ow! No, I'm not. I'm badly bent.
Well, it serves you right for playing tricks on us all this time.
I'll go and phone for help.
You should be more careful, Yeardley. You should know better than to race around dangerous bends.
Yes, sir. Sorry, sir.
The following day, Henry was about to take the local. He saw Yeardley still on the flatbed next to the station.
I would have won that race if it hadn't been for that stupid tree.
Honestly, Yeardley, you're making a fuss over nothing. It was just a small knock.
No, it wasn't.
And it's not a stupid tree. You're just trying to blame the tree for your accident just because you're careless and a terrible engine.
Pah! The Fat Controller inspected the track last night after my accident, and he said it is because of the tree, and he's going to cut it down.
That's not true. You're just making it all up.
I'm afraid it might be true, Henry.
What do you mean, sir?
Some influential people and I are going to have a meeting this afternoon about this situation.
Will it be cut up?
I don't know, Henry, though I hope not. That tree has been remarkable to all of us. I even proposed to my wife by that tree years ago. Now, Henry was distraught. Later that day, Henry was resting at Vicarstown goods yards. Having finished his last run for the day, he could see the Fat Controller as the mayor was about to start their meeting.
I say that tree should be cut down. We don't want any more accidents in the forest, do we?
But that tree was over 300 years, and it's a trendy icon to the whole forest.
I'm surprised at you, Topham. As controller of the Northwestern Railway, you should be more responsible about public safety, especially for your engines.
Blast!
Duke, Duchess of Boxford, you two should see my point.
I say we take a vote on it. Those in favour of cutting down the tree, hands up.
Oh dear, I'm afraid that's settled then.
Oh dear, I'll call the woodmen to come and cut it down for the end of the week. Meanwhile, the line will be closed off until then.
Oh no!
Poor Henry. That night at Tidmouth Sheds, Henry had stayed unusually quiet. The other engines had noticed that.
How long are you going to keep this up, Henry?
Yes, you've been very quiet tonight. That's not like you.
He's not speaking. He's doing a silence pot roast.
Silence protest. You seem to have gathered that from him, Percy.
Henry, we all know how much that tree means to you, but it has to come down. It's dangerous.
Yeah, you don't want it to fall on top of you, do you?
But it's not dangerous. Yeardley only had a small knock and made a big fuss. And Henry said we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him.
No, Dudley, you got it all wrong. None of us would be if...
Henry puffed crossly to take the flying kipper.
Poor Henry. I can understand how he feels. Those animals must have loved the tree like the ones where I come from.
That's different, Nia. Your animals are from Africa.
While Henry was being loaded at the docks, Dudley puffed over to Henry.
So much for ruining my silent protest, Dudley.
Sorry, Henry. I'm glad I'm not a tree. I'd hate to be chopped down.
You're right, Dudley. You've just given me an idea.
The following day, Henry puffed into the main station ready to take the first passenger train of the day. Behind him, he had a van with a picture of a tree on it to help him make a protest to his passengers.
Henry, what on earth are you up to?
I'm doing a protest to stop the old oak tree from being cut down. I've got this van to help me.
Then, there was trouble. Percy was bringing Henry's coaches to the platform. He didn't know about the van.
Percy!
Oops! Sorry, Henry!
Cinders and ashes. Well, that protest of yours didn't work after all, Henry. You might as well give up right now.
Henry groaned crossly. Not only did the mess ruin his protest and made him late, but now he'll have to think of another idea to save the old oak tree. The next day, the Fat Controller arrived at the station and was surprised to see the platform was filled with angry passengers. Peter came up to him.
There's trouble in the shed, sir. Henry refused to come out, his train's not ready, and the passengers are saying this is a bad railway.
Indeed. We cannot allow that now, can we? Oh, for goodness sake. No, scratch that. Audrey sick. He found Henry still in the shed and looking very cross. Come on, Henry. It's time to go. Your train's ready.
Sorry, sir, but I'm not moving. Since no one is saving my tree, I refuse to move.
Ugh. Henry, I know how much that tree means to you, but there wasn't much I could do. Imagine what would happen if a passenger train went down that line and hit a route. It would be disastrous. I'm sorry, but this is how it has to be. Plus, we have a railway to run. Now listen, Gordon will be going to the steamworks next week. So, do you want a chance to take the express for him or not? Because I can always give it to James.
Yes!
If he doesn't show off or cause any more problems.
Oh.
Henry sighed, and he had no option but to admit defeat. Henry made up for lost time with the local train, but when he arrived at Vicarstown, he was tired, upset, and annoyed. In other words, his emotions were boiling over.
I never liked Yeardley and his tricks, and I'm so disappointed in the Fat Controller. Now, I'll never save the old oak tree.
Then, Henry saw the woodsmen loading their truck nearby. They carried saws, chainsaws, and axes.
Oh no, the woodsmen are here to cut the old oak tree down. Now what am I going to do? Maybe Nia can help me. She's smart and knows everything about nature. Hi, Nia. Can you help me with something?
Of course, Henry. What is it?
Henry told Nia about his plan to save the tree. Nia agreed, though Henry only told her it was for the animals to be kept safe. Later that evening, the Fat Controller came to the sheds to speak to Henry about his recent actions, but Henry wasn't there, nor was Nia. Has anyone seen Henry? I just don't know what got into him. Delaying his trains, going on strike, and now he hasn't picked up the flying kipper at the docks.
Sir? I did see Henry talking to Nia earlier today, and I think he might be using her to save the old oak tree.
Oh no, I should have seen it coming. Come on, Edward, we need to stop Henry. James, you check the keeper. If Henry doesn't return, and don't argue, just go.
Yes, sir.
Climb aboard, sir.
By the time Edward and the Fat Controller arrived in the forest, they could see Henry and Nia blocking the way to the oak tree, refusing to let the woodsmen past. The woodsmen were very cross.
If you don't get out of the way, I'll cut you up with my chainsaw.
Move it, you vicious green idiot. That was pathetic, mate.
Why am I even a part of this?
Henry! Nia! Get away from there!
Sorry, sir, but we can't do that. We're not moving from this spot.
You can cut this tree down over my squat body. These animals live here, you know.
Nia, that really won't be necessary. Henry's using you to help him save the tree.
Get clear! Both of ya!
Sir, there's nothing wrong with this tree.
Then there was trouble. The tree began to split in half. Nia got derailed because of the same route that Yeardley hit before.
Henry, help!
Nia!
Whew! That was close.
Well done, Henry. Very well done.
Thank you, Henry. You saved my life. I'm sorry you lost your tree, though. I know how you feel.
It's okay, Nia. A friend is more important than a broken tree.
Nia wasn't sure. One moment, Henry was smiling, but the next, she thought she could see a small tear creeping into Henry's eye, as he realized his favorite tree was now no more. The next day, when the woodsman left, Henry and the Fat Controller inspected what was left of the tree, which was now a pile of logs.
I feel so silly, sir. Yeardley will never let me forget this.
But Nia will never forget what you did for her either. I'm very proud of you, Henry.
Really, sir?
Yes, you may have been silly, but you've been a fearless engine indeed, and you handled your loss very maturely. But all things have to come to an end. We both know that. Henry sighed. He was thinking about all the animals who had lost their home. But as he looked over the logs on the ground, he suddenly had an idea.
Not all things, sir. What if we use the logo to build a new home for the animals?
You mean build a sanctuary? Henry, that's a splendid idea! And so, it was settled. Henry and Nia delivered the building supplies and made sure to pass by the forest every day to look for progress. Everyone worked very hard indeed. A week later, Henry and the Fat Controller admired the new animal sanctuary, newly built, and the animals were now settling in. Even a shelter was made just for Henry, and even Nia to rest under during their time in the forest, where they could watch the animals settle in. That was a splendid idea, Henry. Now, if the animals are sick or need shelter, they could come here and be safe and sound.
Thank you, sir.
Henry and Nia often like to take a few minutes off from their busy day to observe the animals in their new habitat. They can never stay long, for they have jobs to do, but they always do it if their schedule allows it. It always makes them feel at peace. Henry sometimes feels sad about the loss of the old oak tree as he rests below where it used to stand tremendous and tall. But he can never stay upset because in the end, he had to admit, even though things sometimes have to come to an end, it doesn't mean that new beginnings can't blossom in their place.